Hello, welcome back to Seawolf's Den. I'm Crafting Ron. This is another entry into my series of show and telling trash, and in this case, it is a series of crafts I made for a campaign I ran from my home in the rule set of Savage Worlds, my favorite rule set, and my favorite setting, which is Star Frontiers. When I started playing role-playing games at the ripe old age of 13 or 14, there were a number of games I started at. I did try D&D once and had some fun, but Star Frontiers really is what I feel like I cut my teeth on, my gaming teeth. And I had ongoing campaigns in my high school years, I had ongoing campaigns in my college years, and throughout that whole time I'm injecting all kinds of other inspiration. I was a big reader in college and I read Jerry Pournelle, Larry Niven, and a whole bunch of other books, and they all inspired me to continue to play Star Frontiers. I got back into Larry Niven recently and I started listening to his books. They inspired me to go back to Star Frontiers and the original campaigns that were written for it. In this particular case, it was the Volturnus series of adventures. It started with the short adventure that came with the box, Crash on Volturnus, and then went on to two other published books. There's a lot to that reminds me of some Larry Niven stories, especially Ringworld, etc. I decided to dive back into that, but reading into it, I realized just how much it was really simple and just a dungeon crawl type adventure, which doesn't always satisfy me, and I need more story. Diving into the internet to find out if anybody else felt the same, I found a guy named Chris Putnam who wrote up his version of the campaign when he ran it. He wrote, I don't even know when he wrote this, but it's put together in a nice PDF where he just kind of altered it in a way to give it a little bit more story. There was also another conversion to Savage Worlds that also did a little more to enhance the story by a guy named John Parker. So I kind of took all those ideas together and gave it a little more of a living, breathing world with just a deeper background, and added my own style of things. But a lot of these were inspired by original drawing in these PDFs or original maps created for Star Frontiers. The first craft I created was an alien space station. That is the first thing they discovered going into the system. Now, this was added on by Chris Putnam, and it was enhancing the overall story about the crystalline based technology of the aliens that lived on this planet, the Eorna. It took it as far as even saying that they created space stations out of it. And here's the picture of it, and from that I created a versatile kind of 2.5D representation. Early on, before they even got to the planet, they found a space station, and that is again something that Chris Putnam created and I loved, and so he did a rough sketch of the space station. I did a 2.5D version of it that was interchangeable. These parts are interchangeable, so this could be a room here, you take this out and it's a different room. This, I don't remember what that was, I'll be honest with you. Maybe panels or something. And you can just drop these in here as control crystals or something like that. These were shuttles. You'd be in the shuttle bay. Those are depicted in the picture. More crystals, and I just basically kind of went with the same kind of stone making techniques in foam, but painted them white and blue to give them a crystalline look. This was removable. There was one room that was cells. The space station was kind of a cross shape, and you can see that in picture. So these could be multiple exploration points. Oh, actually, I remember now. I had an indicator for where the elevator shaft was, and it was just a half circle that I would put there, and they would explore this. So all made out of foam. This is that thick foam that I found on the side of the road. Might have trimmed it down a little bit, and then the sides are a foam core. I just glued to it. The second craft I did along these lines and along the crystalline technology, crystalline craft, was these ruins. Now, these were buildings made out of crystal, and the players had an interesting encounter there. This is one of his maps for a ruin on Volturnus. Volturnus has a history of it was once populated by an ancient alien race called the Eorna, and their technology was heavily crystalline based. And so I built ruins of their city based on the map. I'll put up a picture of the map that he made. And made them look crystalline. And I did these real quick. This was almost an overnight craft that I did, maybe 2 nights. But again, I did some 2.5D work, thanks to DM Scotty's inspiration. But this is how they saw it first. And I built these crystalline outcroppings those are hot glue sticks cut, made it look like crystals. And I probably will keep those. When they entered into a room, I would lift off the top and lay down whatever's there. Similarly, a dungeon crawl, but more of a ruin exploration. And you can see that I just painted these real quick to kind of get the effect of a crystalline world. So these were the Eorna ruins for the alternative Volturnus series made by Chris Putnam. Yeah, they had some interesting encounters with these. These were fun, and I'm pretty proud of how quickly I made these, and they still look halfway decent. Another encounter that basically opened up the second adventure, or the second chapter in this whole campaign, was the Pirate Outpost. And it used the map from the original game, and these squares were not 1-inch squares. These were for the little chits that came in the game. So it was super small. I could have blown it up and made it 1-inch squares, but that wouldn't make me happy. So obviously I crafted something in that adventure. It was called Raid on the Pirate Outpost, and they encountered a bunch of pirates and got some help from other local denizens. And so they explored a little bit more about the pirates. They're on the planet. Somewhere in here it says use the outpost map from the box set. Oh, there it is. Here's the Pirate Outpost in their interpretation. So I used that, but then I created my own. So here is the outpost that I designed. Originally each floor was on stilts except for the bottom floor, but many of them broke off. You can see the stilts on the tower piece. They were on each of these corners, and that piece would sit on top of the bottom piece, and then that would sit on the tower, like that. And so they were attacking now a 3-level outpost rather than just the single level outpost that was mapped out in the original box. I put a turret on top of there, and that's made out of a $1 store or $2 store army tanks that I glued together, plus a Matchbox car tank top, and put a Woody on the bottom and made it a cannon, kind of a point of interest. Of course, the players tried their hardest to try to steal that, but there was no logical way of doing that. There was a lot of other hardware in here that they could have stolen, and they did in some cases. This was just the outpost they had to attack. They infiltrated each level and took out pirates as they went along. Another map that I took on was the ultimate map, the classic Fortress map from Star Frontier's box set. The adventure itself converted this to a pirate base. The pirate base that I'm just going to call the pirate base, and I'll let you read what they called it back then, was where they enslaved local aliens. And this is the part I like the most about these adventures. What the players, the adventurers, would go out and free these slaves and form an army to beat the pirates, and then they join and band together to fight another threat. And if you know anything about Star Frontiers, you know what threat that was. So I built this fortress out of a bunch of stuff and took some liberties too. Okay, this is one of my larger ones. It was part of the Savage Star Frontiers, and I didn't really take full advantage of it because of COVID. I built that Star Frontiers map. I had a little landing pad right here with a ship. The ship that I built from impotent mortals. I try to get at least a semblance of a building that's on that map, and I kind of gave it a little bit more of a life. I had all kinds of extra parts thrown in here. You can see applesauce tops, you can see model parts, model sprues, you can see PVC. Much of this is just packing material that I cut up. This is a poster tube made into a tower. This is a Skylander Giants cake topper portal that I just so happened to fit that tube, which lucky me. This is more of that thick, what was it, 3-inch foam that I found on the side of the road. Packing material. This was some toy. I don't know. I can't really. It was in my box of stuff, and I grabbed it and glued on these straps to make it kind of look like a tower. More packing material, more packing foam, packing material. These two come from another set that I'll show in another video. A major city. Actually, I made a video of that city. It was like a sky skull city I used in Titan's Grave. This has got different parts from a inkjet. It's an inkjet cap. These are electric toothbrush tops. I just threw on different things. Packing material. I glued on the doors. These are sprues from models. Just a straight up door. And what I did with a lot of these, as you can see, is glue on just some kind of texture to make it look sci-fi. And of course, looking from the top, all I did was paint it. These are tea light containers. This is more parts. This used to stand up. This is like a bottle opener. Deodorant cap, bottle cap, and some other toy parts. More Mage Knight bases. This is from a robot, dollar store robot. A lot of these are dollar store robots parts because I like the way they just look futuristic and once they're painted. This comes off, and it's supposed to be just a feature on top. More packing material and printouts on top. More packing material, printouts. As you can see, there's not much to it. Packing material and just various bits, parts. And the walls are packing material with skull beads on them. And those came from that other city I built, and I just so happened to use them for this too. Oh, and this is a bunch of PVC. And on the end, I couldn't disguise it enough on the end, but those are Play-Doh ice cream cone things my kids were throwing away. That is the one thing. As you can see, birds have been getting at this, sitting in my garage, and part of the reason why I'm going to throw them away, because they just peck at this foam. You can see the sides of that building. I was real happy with the tower. I may keep that tower. We'll see.
So until next time, seek the wolf in thyself.